recording live from count on three locations. Where was that button?
This is Past the Rust.
I am Patrick, and as always, I am joined by two great men. Jacob, aka Becky,
Making a little great man history tonight.
and Caesar, aka LC.
Thawed out of the ice, and I'm ready to let these hot takes burn, baby.
Yeah, no joke. And I guess we could start there before we get into all the sports stuff. We did experience the national winter storm like everyone else did, probably to varying degrees. I've been iced in. I could technically probably have left this morning, but I just, with everyone on my street parking the whole way down, I didn't feel like that room for error was worth it. I'm excited to leave my house tomorrow.
I think that's very fair. I've also been caged in about as long, I think, but I assumed Friday was going to be like that. Maybe didn't have to, but we just did anyway.
Yeah, I went out for a little while on Friday, and then I walked to a convenience store yesterday and today just to.
Yeah,
Dude.
Friday I had to go. I had to work, but we closed down early, just in time for me to get back, and then did all the grocery shopping that same day, so we were fine. However, I will say this: I did venture out to a grocery store not yesterday, but the day before. Holy shit!
Where?
It was like a 5-minute walk. Was at least double that because there's no traction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know. They're walking up to the square, but I was like 2 to 2.5 hour walk up there, and I'm gonna get drunk and try to walk 2.5 hours home. Probably not gonna happen.
At lunch, I try to walk two laps around like this part of the lake we live at, and that's about a mile, a little over, I think. But I usually do that 2 of those laps within 40 minutes or so. It took me 40 minutes to get through 1 lap on Monday, and I was just like, and it was like, honestly, I didn't go back because there was so much in the way. Like there was just hills, like slight hills that were like next to impossible. And I was like, well, damn, if it's going to melt today and then ice over again, I was like, I'm definitely not going to get away with this. Today, I probably could. Just was like,
of course, the way it works here is, we get a half inch of snow with 4 inches of ice. Like, it looks beautiful. You just can't do anything with it.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
My skates and got out there, but
it was nice to look at for sure. But yeah, I mean, and there's the risk of like falling. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's really the part. Like I'm like over like an old man just like holding onto rails as I go down steps and shit.
Yeah,
It's
and
understandable.
never mind. I guess I'm trying to decide if we mention. I guess we should mention our boy Kanye might be for at least the next few months taking his medication.
Yeah, but then like there was almost an instant wet part with the. I mean, there always was going to be that. Like, just God damn it, just actually going away is actually the appropriate way. But I guess a public apology is good for business, and it's definitely not inconvenient that there's an album rollout in Rolling Stone today.
That might make sense. Yeah.
So that's
Given that whoever wrote that wrote a better apology than many that I've ever read, at least. Like the words felt like there was some credibility and genuine him there, less so than a straight PR hit piece.
All right, so it did sound like something he would write.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean, it's been so long since there's been like a fully lucid Kanye. The idea that this could be the moment is still like, even if you don't forgive him for all the other stuff, that's fine. But even if you do, there's still this idea that like all of a sudden we're on a quest for sane, rational Kanye. That man has not existed in like way longer than the recent episode.
Yeah, and then there's some talk in there about frontal lobe damage, which had gone undiagnosed for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
that kind of checks out, actually.
No, there's been a lot of people having a good time with this because there's him, and then there's John Fetterman going from being like this raging liberal to like a super conservative, like are slowly leaning into conservative values, and everyone's talking about how brain trauma can.
Yeah.
And I've always said the most important thing Joe Rogan's podcast has ever done is the Alex Jones episode where he said that, I'm kind of retarded, and then told a story about how he actually had blunt force trauma as like a senior in high school to his head. And then and after that, I just, I think obviously a very reprehensible person. I don't agree with almost anything he's ever said, but at that point, I was just like, oh, I feel so much less negativity towards you.
All makes a lot more sense.
Like I am like you should still be deplatformed, but like I get where this comes from now. Good luck.
Yeah. And look, there's tons of other things that we could get into, but we're not the show for.
Yeah, I mean, ice was a transition you didn't. And you do have to speak on it because
a long pause and decided not to.
You're a spiritual Minnesotan, especially at this moment, because you're doubled up.
There's that. Then there's the Paul Allen angle, which I don't know if y'all saw any of that.
I saw a little bit. Well, he was mad.
What's the Paul?
He had like Paul Allen is the guy who runs a radio show or something.
Yeah, and the Vikings radio play-by-play guy who is doing that, but his show on his radio, on whatever radio network he's on, probably KFan, I guess, has progressively gotten weirder. And then he went a little too far on a joke. Now he's trying to apologize. I don't know if the Vikings are going to do something or not, because the luckiest thing for them is that we don't play a game again until September. So
it's the NFL. We're more likely to get a memorial than anyone actually gunned down because we're podcasters. So we're actually the liberators of society, apparently.
For Kurt, I know that.
They didn't?
No, they're one of those few teams that didn't.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of like, what does that have to do with us at all, actually?
Things I've ever. Anyway. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we got some more, and we'll get this. Yeah, this kind of touches on the first few topics anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I read your first topic of the day, so I feel like we there was going to be some angst either way. So
we've got a few athletes who have come out and said some stuff finally about this kind of thing. I think it started with it wasn't Halliburton, was it?
I think it was Halliburton, actually.
Hallie was the first one, I think so.
Yeah, and it was only after the second shooting or killing, to be third, really. 50. There's like 55 last year. There's been a lot of.
There's a lot of these were some of the more. Public.
These are the two.
What the hell's going on with the mic?
Two recently recorded incidents of this in Minnesota specifically, but if you follow the trail, there's a situation in Los Angeles where a man was killed, and then there's been many and now there's lawsuits against some of these concentration camps that I will go ahead and call them that, because I think at this point
definition what they are, even if you're not in the gas chamber, it's still a concentration camp.
Yeah, and there you have a situation where there's like I said, there is an entire lawsuit. I don't even have to go full lib on this. There is an entire lawsuit against these right now, and I would imagine that's fairly credible with a lot of evidence. May take a while to get the court to give a shit, but that case is still on file. Anyway,
in Boston, who might be getting to test the waters here soon with this experiment. So yeah.
We'll see. So there was a few guys that came out. Wemby had the big one that I'll let you get to before, but there was probably the most disappointing one. And I'm not too upset with him. I get where it comes from here, but Anthony Edwards definitely had a tough. He took. Yeah, I mean, it tracks. There's a lot of reasons it tracks, but
not say anything instead. But
well, that's more or less what he did. I would say. I think that he basically just took I don't go on social media like that. I don't really know what's going on, so I'm not going to speak on it, kind of thing. Which, honestly, is probably the best advice for him if that's the reality of his situation. But obviously, it's the A$AP Rocky thing. Like, I don't know if you guys are that familiar with A$AP Rocky, where people used to get really mad at him because he was like a really talented rapper, and he was in this class of like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar that were very lyrical and had like storytelling aspects that
Real
were very
social conscious.
philosophical. And ASAP was like, yeah, but like that's not what I do, so I don't do it. And people just kind of like shit on him, but like he was kind of right. Like if that's not what you do, then don't force it either. But he represents Minnesota, so it's just like I don't know what to tell Anthony Edwards in this situation. You just kind of have to.
I'm reading his full quote here, and I don't hate it.
That's why I said it's just tough. Like that's why I had to mention this because he's getting fucking killed over it, and it's like I'm not surprised. Those people have.
He pretty much just said whatever Minnesota wants to do, I'm down. So
no, I think there was some redeeming quality, but I just feel like there is, especially with any celebrity. Actually, we've seen recently we treat the celebrities like politicians and politicians like celebrities, and we expect more from this guy than we expect from the people who actually have that's the job. Like, at the end of the day, Muhammad Ali just happened to do what he did because he had a platform. It's not the responsibility of every athlete to do that.
I mean, I can't blame the people though for putting that onto celebrities or athletes, just because we've already seen what politicians actually do, and most of them are either useless or actively doing shit to harm their constituents.
We know they help, but they have to be genuine when they help. That's the problem.
And they're more likely to listen. They're more likely to want the celebrities to like them than the rest of us. So
that's true. Like I said, I understand why people like it, but you just can't. Like, not everyone's Kareem, and they don't need to be. Like, I think LeBron has done a good job of trying to do it, but then like not go too far, because anytime he's gone too far, he kind of looks like somebody who's not actually very plugged into that global world of politics and economics and all the crazy shit politicians debate.
Yeah, and there's a ton to know, and not everyone can know.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like it's really not like it should have more gatekeeping in this arena.
Yeah, but if I haven't seen the full quote from Anthony Edwards, but if I'm somebody on like that T-Wolves PR staff, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. This is the situation.
No, they're happy.
Choose your words.
I mean, even though the Minnesota's been very pro everything, I think the PR team's definitely fine with him going with that quote more than.
That was better than a no comment. I'll give him that.
And again, and to say that about the Timberwolves have done a great job. They've done a moment of silence both times. I mean, unfortunately, in this situation, like
would have liked to see them like maybe actually stop playing for a little bit, not just push it to the next.
Well, if you go strike, there's nothing that's
just a little bit more.
And again, that's where Anthony Edwards would have to be that, and we already know. Like, I'm not even trying to be a dick to Rudy Gobert, but we already know his internet footprint is pretty staunch, like manosphere conservative type. So, like, at least manosphere. He's definitely manosphere, thick into the manosphere. So it's just one of those things. I just don't think Julius Randle. Like, I don't know. Like, but again, Dante DiVincenzo. No, like I said, it takes somebody who's got a high profile and someone who actually knows what they're doing and caring to lead that charge. So Tyrese was good. Wemby's probably better. I do worry more with Wemby here. And it's not just Wemby. You had Gerson Yabusele going out before Wemby had. The French don't ever think the French are going to pass up an opportunity to revolt. Okay? That is their bread and butter.
That was part of Wemby's answer, was a response about I cannot say his name, Table's initial statement about it. Yeah, I'll go and just play. I cut up Wemby's to get it down under 2 minutes at least. But I liked what he said here. So
on the situation in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna restart that.
PR has tried, but I'm not gonna see
the situation in Minneapolis.
Yeah. PR has tried, but I'm not going to sit here and give some politically correct, I know every day I wake up and see the news and I'm horrified. I think that it's crazy that some people make it sound like it's acceptable. The murder of civilians is acceptable, Every day, I read the news and sometimes I'm asking very deep questions about my own life. But I'm conscious also that saying everything that's on my mind would have a cost that's too great for me right now. So it's I'd rather not get into too many details. I know I'm a foreigner. I live in this country. And I am concerned for sure.
Is that part of your hesitance, being a foreigner? Does that play into your?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's yeah. Not getting too many details, but yes. I'm always proud of people speaking their mind, no matter the subject, And it's I think it definitely takes some balls, but it might have some price in right now. I mean, each and every one of us has to decide the price we're willing to pay.
And you decided that today. You could have said
Yeah.
no comment.
I think there's enough details though for now.
Okay.
If privately we can discuss it maybe later, but not right now.
Yeah,
No.
I prefer what he said over Anthony Edwards, but at the same time, they're on two different sides of, I think, how they view the world and their
Yeah.
exposure to the world.
Yeah.
Like you could tell, like on the off season, Victor Wembanyama is a lot more worldly than Anthony Edwards, and that's no shade to Anthony Edwards. Not everybody can be that guy.
It's about where you come from, who you are. Wemby's parents, both athletes, I think, right?
Yeah.
Did fairly well for themselves, so he's got a different sort of educational background as well as being from France, and actually not even just France, right? His lineage goes a little bit more like France is obviously where his family's from, but that's even his parents were born somewhere else or something, or one of his parents is not French, or however it goes. So either way.
Congolese.
There's definitely a collectivism mindset from him. I feel when I hear him talk, whereas Anthony Edwards, you can definitely tell there's a little bit of more of an individualistic, mindset, and he takes that approach.
There's a great article to be written about the American ideology and how Anthony Edwards, not to his discredit or not to shame him, is a representative of, and how much in a global worldly aspect Victor Wembanyama's worldview is. So good luck to whoever wants to write that. But I do agree. Yeah, I do agree that that's a reality. But again, even Wemby, he's realizing that it's not necessarily endorsements, because I think maybe you could hear that quote and think about money. And I guess it does come down to money, but I think it's pretty fair to say that he would get his card pulled pretty quickly.
I mean,
if he was to be
profile, safety.
Specific. Yeah. I don't even know about safety. I really just think they would make a show of deporting him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they really would. And so that would be a very interesting situation, even though technically, I mean, he qualifies for dumbass's $1 million visa or whatever.
Well, if you pay for it,
right? But that's what I'm saying is all he has to do is buy it now, because dumbass is
wouldn't.
Yeah, really just about that money. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough situation for sure, and you respect the athletes talking, but at the same time, it's not their job, so. I don't really feel like I have to put this weight on them either.
No, you don't want to put that weight on them, but I think
their spot they can use that.
Yeah, if they are willing to speak about it, go for it. And if they're not willing to speak on it, I prefer they say nothing than say something. There's gonna be backlash either way, because times are tough, tensions are high, and we look to sports as a form of escapism for a couple hours every so often throughout the weeks, throughout the months. And so you look at these athletes who you don't know, but you see them represent your city, you see them represent the team that you grew up rooting for, and you kind of hope and wish that a lot of them could use their platform to speak up on the things happening in the community in which they reside, right?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, but also be careful what you wish for.
Derek
Because we
Dooley.
don't.
Who else?
I's never been to my neighborhood. I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? There's some really, like, that's the problem is yeah, you say that, but then there are, MLB guys are happy to talk about, or
Oh yeah,
NHL
no,
guys,
sure,
you got
no, sure.
it
But
goes
what
it goes the
what
whole
I'm
spectrum here. Enos
Yeah,
Cancer.
what I'm speaking towards mostly is when there are negative things happening in the community, right? You want the athletes that represent your city to kind of step up to bat for the community in a positive way, and not glorify the other side like some other athletes would probably do as well. But that's the whole thing with pro sports. That locker room is going to be filled with people who view both sides of the political spectrum differently from one another. And thanks to their job, millions of dollars on the line, they coexist just fine.
Yeah,
right?
the tax argument works on them pretty easily.
Yeah, and so there's that. So to the everyday fan, it's not ideal. Especially comments where you're like you want something strong, more pointed. But hey, at the same time, these guys, they're stuck between a hard and rock. A rock and a hard place. And I'm sure a lot of them would like to speak up, and just they fear they have their own fears and insecurities when it comes to these kinds of things. And so, it's up to the everyman. It's up to people who actually are in the community or do represent you politically to, do something about it.
Even if you're at that level, you also have to be realistic about what your impact is going to be. Like, you're hearing a lot of these people who are very, very, very entrenched in this world and have been fighting this particular chapter in American history for over a decade now. And those people are still saying that, it's like, okay, this is nice, but there is, again, we're beyond the point of athletes boycotting things and helping us at this point, in my mind.
Well,
No, for sure.
We've got two big international things coming up this year that are going to kind of push and test some more. What is it, like a week from now?
Terrifying.
A week and a couple days, or a week and a day from whenever this.
So the Winter Olympics, it's hosted in multiple spots.
No, it's in Italy.
Okay, it is in Milan.
So that's a confusing thing of we're being told that we're sending our immigrations and custom enforcement officers to Italy.
Yes, which is okay. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding that right, because when I read those two headlines, I was like, I thought this was in fucking Milan.
Olympics. I did want to bring up that Team USA Hockey is shooting themselves in the foot by not including several top goal scorers for the same standard reasons that all your dumbass CEOs use of culture, fit, not like a meritocracy like they claim to want.
Yeah. So wait, is this not about the trans person?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, dude, we're totally, when you Google U.S. hockey right now, that's definitely not the first population.
Let's see.
I thought this is why I thought you were going to be spicy today.
I was talking about literally the Olympic team, not Chase Robertson and other top American scorers, because they're running the vibe check instead of trying to win the goal.
Okay, they're not roster stacking; they're going with the boys.
USA Hockey's new policy preserves sex-based categories. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's what populated first. I thought that's what you were speaking about.
No, I mean, I don't know, man. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's where I was like, all right, fuck. I guess I was gonna say shout out to this person to be so qualified that we're talking about them playing with NHL players all of a sudden. Like, what's happening? But I think this is a different part of U.S. hockey.
No, but we have gotten some, at least a couple of people in the NHL the last couple of weeks giving quotes, being asked about that heated rivalry show, and they're at least giving the right answers, which is better than they used to.
What is heated rivalry? I've been seeing some of this.
It's a hockey show about two gay hockey players, and maybe more. I haven't seen it, but it's created by one of the creators of Letterkenny and Shoresy. But I think we're
okay,
a little bit. Yeah. I bet it's pretty funny. It's the guy who plays the pastor in Letterkenny,
Okay, interesting.
the showrunner, or at least the creator. But yeah, I just wanted to complain that Jason Robinson, one of the top scoring Americans, is not on Team USA.
And that's more topical than what I was. Than you know.
For me, because I don't like
Well, for a local too, you know.
hockey. Yeah,
So this is a local story. That makes sense.
and then obviously we also have the World Cup later this year, which is taking place Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what that's going to look like.
Well,
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess if things continue the way they are.
yeah, I don't know, honestly, because I think a large part of me is very pessimistic and assumes that a lot of people will still just attend these events, obviously, very full capacity. Profits will be fine. I wonder about the expenses. I wonder about the expenses of it. Yeah, I wonder how many Americans are going to be there compared to how many or how many North Americans, to be less specific, I suppose. Like, I wonder how many. Like, it really feels like it'll be predominantly made of people from either the three countries hosting, because I just don't understand.
So as far as
some
I've
people
seen,
are going to feel fine about it. You know, I guess that's the difference. There's going to be, you know, I'd have to look at who's qualifying and who would want to come for this, obviously. And in that country, it's going to really matter based off of whether or not dumbass likes them or not, really. Like, that's, I mean, it's really as simple as that, you know?
Yeah. So as far as I've seen, there's been thousands of people canceling their bids for tickets, right? And you buy directly from FIFA. You don't buy directly from the stadium. And so you do have to put in essentially like this no cost bid for the ticket. If you win, then you are allotted the ticket that you then pay for, right? So I've seen thousands of cancellations have already happened. Now, on top of that, you also have various teams that I believe are qualified or maybe qualified that are on
the teams
travel ban, right? So there's travel bans on a couple of countries.
Algeria,
maybe. There's some travel bans. I'm not sure which countries may be affected by the said travel bans,
Essentially,
but there is that risk, right? Because a lot of the tournament will go through the U.S. Like Mexico and Canada will host their own stages of the tournament, but at the end of the day, like the World Cup itself is going to be like the final will be held, you know, at MetLife. So,
well, I mean, there's your answer. The Saudis, Qatars are qualified.
They've already sold over 2 million tickets as it is. I don't think there's going to be fans not going. My question is, are their teams going to be allowed to play?
Well, and there's also going to be a whole other part of this with Iran. Iran's team, like Iran might be the hottest thing in the world right now that maybe not enough Americans are realizing. Because that's a real escalation. They just put a bunch of warships out by the Persian Gulf. But
we'll travel a little bit.
Whew, what a world.
Wait, but did they qualify for the World Cup?
I think Iran's in the World Cup.
Countries are going, so yeah, I think they'll be in there. They're always in there.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, but like, there's also just a possibility that.
Oh yeah, they're in Group G.
But there's also a possibility that maybe they have to be replaced. I mean, dude, Iran is literally like I don't.
Yeah.
That one's a big question mark. That's maybe they've like obviously the way their countries ran, like it's I would imagine these players are very non-problematic to the to Ayatollah, and so they're probably, but it's like also just I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their schedule for the World Cup. They will be playing their group stage games in the U.S. So I mean, had their games taken place in Mexico, you could kind of probably been like, well, they probably won't advance past the group stage just because of who is in their group. But now you can't even entertain that.
I mean, the thing with Iran is that, you know, honestly, that honestly might be a feel-good story, because At that point, it will likely be a lot of Iranian Americans, which there is a massive amount of. I think this is being played in LA, right? So LA has got a massive population of Iranian people. So maybe there's a feel good story there. I don't know. Like I said, I really suspect it's a lot of Americans, Canadians, and Mexicans.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I really think that at this point, and it's interesting too because like Mexico's in the bracket, I would assume, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's tensions with them right now as well.
Well, I mean, who's being targeted the most blatantly right now? So
Yeah.
as far as the ICE stuff goes, so then if I'm a Mexican national and I'm trying, I don't see Mexico in here. I don't think
they're one of the host nations, so I mean,
they are
they're
host
automatic-
nation, but I don't think Mexico qualified.
No, all host nations automatically qualify.
Oh, you're right. So
they
then
definitely
fuck away.
it's like 50 countries. If you can name
Oh,
it,
well, I'm looking at. Oh, some have already. Okay, yeah, okay.
it's on groups.
Mexico was. You're right. They were tossed up with us in Canada in a different. They did this weird, but I get it now. Okay, so yes, I think if Mexico plays games in the United States, I would have to suspect that would be, a big deterrent. So
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, there you go.
Let's continue in our quasi international world here and get into a little Bethke versus.
Well, we got a little information. I mean, the trade deadline's dead still. Giannis is still clogging up the market. There's one trade this
We
season.
got 3 teams named today that he
Yeah.
wants to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we could get into the Giannis stuff, but I really don't care. I guess you can say that there's a little more.
It's gonna go.
Well, there's a little more lubrication on the joints here because there's close to being like a deadline. There's close to being a window. Teams are at least allowed to make offers now. At the same time, it just feels like this is probably not going to happen this season. And then it's probably going to get fairly ugly. Maybe he does hire Rich Paul, which is sort of the allegation at this point, and then force his way to whatever team he desires. I know the Lakers will be obviously talked about, but the Heat are just as likely in that scenario, and probably another whatever the other team was that got mentioned. So really, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get into the market. We still have like another week, I think, as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So really, we're just gonna have to hope a trade happens by this time next week. So either way, I was listening to a podcast with Mark Stein, and Mark Stein was talking about something that's happening with NBA Europe initiative, something we've kind of already known. I thought it was interesting enough, so I did a little more digging into it to try to have a little conversation about it. Nothing too crazy. Just thought it was interesting. I would say most of this gets really stoked by the fact that like the ball is rolling on this now. Mark Tatum is the deputy commissioner of the NBA, so the position Adam Silver held before he was the commissioner, and they're basically like kind of already dictating terms in the public, and then they're going to have an official meeting with the people that matter in this coming week. But there's not he basically was like, there's not a top tier team in the UK. He said there's not he said the same for Berlin, Paris, Rome. That's a little debatable, but I get what he's going for here, right? It was really kind of a shot to some extent at the current EuroLeague as it stands.
Yeah.
And that's really what this is a direct attack on the EuroLeague. They will be looking to make a 12 to 16 team league. The biggest countries would get a permanent spot, with likely 2 teams being in each major market. It's on the books at this moment for starting in October of 2027.
Without any of it existing currently.
Without even existing currently. Well, it does exist currently to some extent, right? We'll get to that. So last 4 spots would be qualification based. So they're still keeping the same relegation model, kind of. It's like the 4 teams basically are up for relegation only ever. And then like the rest of them are just going to be like that. Maybe that could change in the future, but that's kind of how they're going into it. Who they're meeting with this week is random private equity firms. We'll get to a couple of those as we go down. But they're also going to be talking to some of the top clubs overseas. We're talking about Real Madrid and Barcelona, obviously making up the Spain portion of the program. Bayern Munich, which would be the biggest club in Germany. Fenerbahce, which would be the biggest club in Turkey. And Panathinaikos, which would be the biggest one in Greece. Yeah. And basically, that would be your starting collection. I think the only franchise you would really have to start here from scratch would be the Manchester, assuming Manchester teams. And then maybe it's just Manchester United gets involved. Who knows? But the British Basketball League did go under a couple years ago. So there is a pretty vacant void in the UK's basketball world, I suppose. But you do have to question how much they care to fill it, you know? So I do find that to be an interesting part of this equation for them. Private equity, big word here. That's not allowed in the NBA as it stands. And the way that they kind of talked about this, it doesn't look like private equity is going to become to the NBA anytime soon. You know, take that for what it's worth. But basically they said that to say that that's not how the EuroLeague is going to work. The EuroLeague will absolutely be done with private equity funds.
The NBA owners will get money from, right?
I would assume so. I would assume the owners. I don't think it's clear at this point because the Financial Times reported this meeting is coming up. So this big meeting hasn't happened, so the information hasn't properly leaked yet or been leaked. Some of the people backing this. Well, you'll see why. The Saudi, of course. But Blackstone, which is where that came from. Of course, Blackstone has been quite.
Stone and Rock are probably involved.
And then Oak Tree Capital. They're a little more subtle, but they've also been responsible for a lot of things. There's also a couple of NBA players being weaponized in all this. Pau Gasol and Tony Parker are sort of. I mean, honestly, it kind of sounds like they're all going to go shank the EuroLeague in the back, like not too dissimilar to the way college football did the Big 12. I really think that's where we're at, or even the Pac-12. If you want to be
probably a better example, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just
They
truly,
left 12's body there.
yeah. But like the Pac-12, I think maybe that is the best example where they're basically going to have to rebuild that entire conference with all new teams of much lower levels than what they were previous at. But either way, I thought that was an interesting point. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think there's some conversations people are laughing at in the moment. I think for me, I take this pretty seriously. EuroLeague is not cared about that much over here, and that's where this is coming from. I think if it fails, that's the overreach, just like when the NFL Europe happened. But I do think with basketball having a bigger impact, if they can do this, if they can just actually steal Real and Barcelona, and then I guess create a Manchester club. You obviously you have Bayern Munich, you have really good. You have Turkey, which is an interesting one too, because then we get into the politics of this. Obviously, Maccabi Tel Aviv is going to be part of this. Like I would have, they're one of the more powerful programs out there. You have Serbia with Krebza, I think is how you pronounce it, but that might be completely wrong. So you have a lot of these massive places that in theory, if you're playing a video game, in theory, this works. They all have Lithuania's got great teams, that they're at least one they can offer, right? And so all these places can be represented in a new EuroLeague, more or less. But we'll see. I mean, it's just a very interesting idea. Part of me wants it to happen because my whole life has been dedicated to basketball in a lot of ways. And I love the game. And I think I truly, genuinely have a bias towards the game of basketball that, is almost as bad as some of these fuckers in America with their hardcore beliefs, But you have to be careful about how you present it. You present a shit product, people aren't going to find love with it. They're going to find apathy or whatever with it. So I'm hesitant. I'm interested. And I think the final piece on it that I think you guys will be most interested in is if this is successful, isn't it sort of like giving Luka and Nikola and Giannis the perfect reason to just be like,
Peace out. I'm retiring.
Later.
but I think in one way it makes basketball more interesting because then what if an American player is like, fuck, dude, I want that on my legacy. Like Durant's talked about going and playing over there.
And yeah, it sets up someday potentially having a NBA World Cup that's different than the FIBA World Cup and blah blah blah.
It
Like
maybe replaces the
a team cup. Yeah.
it maybe replaces the regular season cup that we're doing right now. Maybe.
No. Time
Maybe.
on vision.
Maybe we'll see. I think it's interesting. We don't have to go too much further on it because I don't know that there's a lot of meat to the story. I think it's going to happen. It's fair to doubt. There's plenty of people that are EuroLeague staunch supporters that are like, there's no way this can change. But I think the college football fan in me is recognizing that, like, I had those similar thoughts to a lot of the institutions I knew as a kid. But again, in the history of college football, Tulane used to be in the SEC. There's been a lot of changes.
Funny one they always use on SEC shorts, so like Kennesaw State or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's things change over time, so we'll see. Anyway, I just thought that this was the most obvious it had ever been, and like I said, they're literally having financial meetings. Like the Financial Times is getting leaks from this stuff, so it's very real at this point. It's not just a theory or an idea they're kicking around.
Well,
also probably not getting expansion. You know what I mean? Like they're doing everything but expanding at this point.
this is basically expanding, just in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's funny that they won't admit that they're not going to do it, but I know they won't because as soon as they say that relocation's off the table, Pelicans fans are instantly going to just be filled with existential dread. Like you instantly go from New Orleans, like you're not having a good time there if you're a Pelicans fan. Like you almost certainly feel like you're the ones getting fucked in a relocation scheme.
Hey, maybe Pablo will force the Grizzlies to have to sell and relocate. So
unfortunately for the Memphis fans, they probably would be another one of the short list that's like the most obvious candidate. And I think that sucks a lot. That sucks a huge fucking lot. But that's basically it.
Pro sports in Tennessee is a weird bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's plenty. There's plenty of money in life there, so I understand why people keep trying to force it. But there are some places that it feels like are a little more resilient to it. Like I think even we suffer from that here in the DFW market because we're just a very modern city in a lot of ways. And I think that in the sense of modern cities, you look at New York being the exception to the rule. I think, but I think radio did that. I don't know that. It feels like major cities, you'll always get people buying jerseys. You'll always get people attending. But the level of fandom will always be places like Philadelphia, which obviously still a very big city, but has a much more local roots kind of culture to it, right?
Yeah, Seahawks, Blazers.
Seahawks, right, yeah. So it's just there's going to be certain places that'll be really good for it that are still technically big markets. Like obviously they're big cities. They're not fucking cow shit, but obviously things are a little bit different. So we'll see. NBA Europe's interesting. Like I said, I think there's a few funny questions here. Maybe the biggest one is this rushing NBA players out? And then the second biggest one is, does the United Kingdom care about basketball enough for this to work? Or would that be the thing that single-handedly brings it all down? Because I could also be sold that like the UK just does not give a fuck about basketball enough for this to work. Like
that would be my
part of it.
Huh?
Why would they have to be part of it?
Well, that's so I guess I didn't clarify enough. Mark Tatum was very specific that he thinks that the United Kingdom market is completely wasted right now. And that's where a lot of the argument comes into play. And he's right, because the BBL, that's what it was called, is now gone, right? The British Basketball League is no more. And so it's really left a hole there. But again, if the league folded, it wasn't that big of a league to begin with, then you have to wonder how much a country with cricket and soccer in its DNA, like it is,
and rugby,
Like how much do they have an appetite for basketball? I do wonder because I know Germany loves it. I know France loves it. I know Lithuania loves it. Fuck, I know Turkey loves it. Even Greece got no money and they're going to watch basketball. You know what I mean? Like this just feels like, you know,
It just feels like that's a waste of an attempt going to the UK with
But they have
basketball
to.
right now.
They have to. I think the biggest part that maybe he has to, I mean, literally, if you read this, that's the most reason they're doing it is that they don't feel like the UK market is served. I think that it's just worrying to me that you would put 2, but then it also makes sense. It's like I think the rivalry thing is so big over there. You almost need Manchester U and Manchester City basketball version because that's what you're doing with. You're literally, this deal will not go through if they don't get Real Barca. Like I know it's basketball, but that's fine. Real Barca means a lot, and it's true of a couple of these other, like Turkey is probably going to, like Fenerbahce and Panathinaikos. Those 2 teams are probably going to need like pairings that are direct rivals in that country, and I'm sure there's teams qualifying for that. But it's going to be an interesting concept.
We've got Super League basketball that replaced it.
Oh, there's somebody else created a pro league.
Yeah, so whatever the British Basketball Federation pulled the license from the BBL, and so I guess they started.
So they just redid it. They just They just kind of remixed it.
They were like, "Whoever's in here, you're fired for going bankrupt, and we're starting again."
Gotcha.
9
Alright.
teams.
Well, like I said, I do find a lot of questions in my head about this, but I'm interested because it's kind of fun and exciting, and I would like a little bit of basketball globalism. I'd be cool with it. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to see if there were any other good stories this week. I guess maybe not good stories. I just now found out about Steven Adams hurting himself. That sucks. So he's
Rockets
out
continue to, yeah. I mean, they were really using him in like specialty roles against certain teams, but yeah, that's
And then
size and strength.
the Warriors are trying to turn their Jonathan Kuminga woes into Giannis, so that's a funny one.
Yeah, I guess they're the 3rd team, aren't they? So Warriors, Lakers.
The ones that I heard that Giannis said at least were Knicks, Heat, and Raptors.
Oh, that sounds more believable. Okay, so that.
He does not want to come to the West. You kidding me?
Oh no, and that's fair. But like, you know, when I hear these rumors and then I get Miami Lakers involved, I'm like, that's where I'm like immediately. I'm like, well, you
It sounds like Miami is the
can always throw the Lakers in it.
price on everyone else team because I think Miami is that a lot.
Yeah. But like I said, you got to be weary when people start throwing because it's just. But if that's 3 teams, that's 3 legitimate make sense teams.
Supposedly his preferred teams. Yeah,
That sounds like his preferred teams list. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I still struggle to feel like it's going to happen right now, but we'll see.
that's what sources told Dallas Hoops Journal.
Yeah, this guy's been really trying to come up recently, so good for him. I don't really know who it is behind it, but this guy's been busting his balls to get a little bit of
Mathur.
who? Say it again.
Ashish Mathur.
Yeah, I don't think
Gesundheit.
I've seen him, but I believe he's probably using that. He's probably using the Dallas Hoops Journal as like his social media instead of. So fair enough. He's been doing a good job. I don't think he's had a false report. I mean, some of them aren't necessarily the meatiest meats of all time, but he's getting some decent scoops that don't completely seem like they're bullshit clickbaity, and that's really the sweet spot.
Yeah, and he's got stuff here on the Wings and the Legends. So I'm wondering if he's just
He's just a local. Yeah, he's just a local product. Yeah, and I mean the Mavs do a good job of credentialing and stuff. So use the opportunity if you can.
All right. Well, I guess with that, it's time to get into the bigger stuff of the week here, which means that it is time for
Some football. The Monday Night Party.
Guy now. Huddle up. Huddle up.
Interesting soundboard right there. All right, y'all. It's time for some CTE fun. Guys, we have some more coaching news to get to. We need to talk about who's going to be representing the Super Bowl, and we got some other stuff to talk about as well. Probably the I guess we want to use this for the halftime show as well.
Yeah, I figured we'd do more previewing of the game next week. So
Okay, because we can talk about the music acts later.
unless next week you want to do like a couple hours on the Pro Bowl, but
No, I'm giving zero time for the Pro Bowl. That spoiler alert for next week. No Pro Bowl talk at all. Okay. Shador Sanders is a Pro Bowler. Just to let everybody know how unserious being a Pro Bowler is.
That lets me know that it is serious.
That's right. That is right. Anyway. My God. Kendrick Perkins. My goodness. Anyway, y'all. We got some new coaches to add to the head coach Fight Club, and some more and another returning coach to the head coach Fight Club. So let's talk about it. We're going to go in alphabetical order and not order of how the news broke. Starting off with the Bills. The Bills decided to fire Sean McDermott after a couple of seasons of, it seems like they've reached their ceiling with him. Despite the fact that they probably reached their ceiling because their GM doesn't know how to draft. But that's besides the point. They have decided to promote Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, to this position. And we'll see how he does. He has previously been an offensive coordinator, not just for the Bills, but for the Panthers.
Most notably, that's not Joe Brady's claim to fame.
No. I was going to get to it. You have his time with the Saints under Sean Payton, and then his I think it was like 1 year wonder at OC with the LSU Tigers, where he led the most dynamic college offense.
What's the timeline on that? Because he's already been a few places since he left LSU after that 1 year.
I believe he was with the Saints for a little bit.
And then it was LSU.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was the Saints, then LSU, then he went back to the pros with the Panthers.
Right.
After that, he got fired. Yeah, he got fired by the Panthers. Had to become a position coach, if I'm not mistaken, with the Bills. Did that for a little bit. They fired the guy ahead of him, where then he took over as OC.
And I remember that happening. So honestly, look, I kind of don't. I kind of like it.
Listen, he's a bright offensive mind. He's definitely shown that he can do some creative things on the offensive side of the ball. The Bills are like, oh well, you know what? We don't. Our defense already sucks in the playoffs anyway. So why don't we just go ahead and double down on offense? Now that's not to say that the Bills sucked on defense this time around. I know that they gave up some points, but they were doing a pretty good job, all things considered. But yeah, we'll see what the Bills do on the defensive coordinator front. There might be a new guy on the market because of this next head coach. Todd Monken has been hired by the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, by the way, for anybody, and I don't blame you if you haven't followed Cleveland Browns' hiring process. So I'm going to go ahead and let you know what they've been doing. They've had all candidates not just interview, but they're doing homework assignments. They're filling out essays. They're treating this like it's a college interview of some sort. Like you're interviewing for a scholarship of some sort, which, it's a very unique way to approach the hiring process. And listen, there's no exact science to it, but I think it's kind of dumb and it's going to turn off for a lot of coaches. And we can kind of tell by the way that things went. They definitely did not get their first choice. They probably did not get their second choice. They probably landed on choice number 4 with Todd Monken, the former offensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, here is the thing that makes this entire thing a disaster. I believe that the rumors were that they wanted Nate Shieldhouse, the passing game coordinator for the Rams. Probably couldn't get him in. He probably was not interested in taking over that franchise, which understandable.
Well, or filling out all the paperwork, apparently.
Yeah, or that, or just doing any homework and anything else related to the interview process. But here's the thing where it becomes more of a disaster after that. They had been in talks with the defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, to potentially take over as the new head coach if they couldn't get their, they're a guy. Now, I don't think that that's how they presented that to him. I think they presented him like, hey, we want to keep you in the organization. And if that means as a head coach, we would love that. They might have said that to his face, but all their actions prove otherwise. As they go hire Todd Monken, they tell other prospective candidates, we will not hire you unless you agree to take Jim Schwartz to be part of your staff. Jim Schwartz wanted to be the head coach. He did not want to just stick around as the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. So he has reportedly said his goodbyes to everybody in the building. He's taking his ball and going home. So dysfunctional Browns continue to be the same Browns that we have known since they've been back since 1999. So nothing's changed there. We'll see what Todd Monken does. I mean, he is a pretty good offensive mind, but what can he do that Kevin Stefanski wasn't able to do will be interesting to see play out. Next on this list, this is Bethke's favorite. In one of the more, for me at least, head-scratching hires, Pittsburgh Steelers hired Mike McCarthy. Fat Mike, as Bethke lovingly calls him, has been hired as their fourth coach since the 60s. You heard that right. Their fourth coach since the 60s. Now, this one I'm not a big fan of personally, just because I think it's like, okay, you're going from Mike Tomlin, who high floor, low ceiling in the 2020s, to Mike McCarthy, who potentially lower floor, same ceiling. I'm not a big fan of this. This definitely doesn't feel like a Steelers move where they hire a young guy and they're like, all right, we want you for the long-term future. We want you to build this thing. It feels like this is the Steelers saying, we want to win now, and we think you can do it because you beat us in a Super Bowl one time over a decade ago.
You have to understand, they know exactly what's happening.
I don't think
this is Dallas 2.0. You got a coach that's been stuck in the middle for a few years. Call Fat Mike. He'll get you 10 wins one season, 12 wins another. Don't worry about those other years. And it's just a crapshoot.
But that's the thing. It's like there's a lower floor with Mike McCarthy because of that crapshoot that you said. And I'm just like, I just don't see this working out long term. This is definitely a short term hire, I believe. I don't know if they found their desired candidate, or maybe the Rooneys have just gone off the deep end. They're like, this is Mike McCarthy. Look at his winning percentage. Look at everything he's done, but ignore all the bad that kind of follows. In terms of performance after the good, after that short-term spike.
I think that
I just think it's an uninspired hire, man.
no matter what they did after Tomlin, that's a bad spot for the next coach to be in. So you bring in an actual Pittsburgh guy who is a pretty decent head coach. It's not, no one's going to be that evident.
No,
the question is who's playing quarterback.
That's a good question. Mike McCarthy has said that he would be interested in reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would be interested in reuniting with Mike McCarthy.
Does Aaron Rodgers have a choice?
Yeah, he had a 1-year deal. He can leave.
Do you think there's another NFL franchise that is going to do it this offseason?
It could be. These NFL franchises get desperate. These owners get desperate, and they love name value. And Aaron Rodgers provides you name value.
Houston?
I don't know if Houston would get that desperate. They might. The ownership might, but I don't think DeMeco Ryans would want that.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Because when you bring in Aaron Rodgers, you're bringing the Aaron Rodgers offense, and that, much like Mike McCarthy's offense, is stuck a decade in the past. So this might be a good marriage.
Steelers picked 1, so they could still get Diego Pavia, or
we're gonna talk about Diego Pavia.
We're
measuring
moving
5'7".
No, why would we? Why would we talk about a guy who's probably not going to get drafted? Also 5'10". Short kings everywhere.
Well,
he's not going to get drafted. Well, okay, he shouldn't get drafted based on the fact that he just is not. He's 5'9" and like 3/4 or whatever. So put some cleats on him. He's 5'10". He should not, based on his physical measurables, be drafted. Just saying. just like, and the body of work at college. I mean, the guy was like a super duper senior. Like he's enjoy the CFL, bro. Enjoy the UFL. Make the most. We'll see you on Barstool or some other like grifting platform down the line. Yeah, but anyway,
To lead into the flag football future.
yeah, he could do that. He might make a killing in flag football, right? You don't have to be a tall guy for that. And he can run around, make some plays happen. It might just be his speed. And then lastly, the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, have decided to hire the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter. Jesse Minter, who, if you're familiar with that name, had one of the best defenses in college football in 2023. Followed the hardball into the pros, where he did okay. He did okay with the Chargers. I mean, there was a lot of talent deficiency on that side of the ball for the Chargers. But he made the most of what he had available to him. And now he takes over the Baltimore Ravens. I personally think that this is not the best candidate that the Ravens could have gone for. I feel like they might have had a certain candidate in mind, and they had to settle for Jesse Minter instead. What they do on offensive coordinator will be interesting because, again, guys, I will say this ad nauseum. For the most part, hiring a defensive head coach is a bad idea if you want stability on offense. Because if that offensive coordinator is any good, he will find a new job within a year or two. And so you are going to be recycling offensive coordinators, and your quarterbacks are going to have to learn new playbooks very, very often. So those are the head coaching hires. There's some coordinator hires that I need to get to that are a little bit more, they have some name value to them. We won't get to every coordinator hire, but the Dallas Cowboys have hired the Eagles defensive backs coach Christian Parker as their new defensive coordinator.
Audience, he said the cocksucking motherfucking bitch ass Eagles. That's what he said.
Thank you. The Packers have decided to forego next season and just take a punt on next season because their defense is going to be significantly worse. They have hired Jonathan Gannon, who has never fielded a good defense. What's up?
Who hired Gannon?
The Packers. The Packers have hired Jonathan Gannon, who has never, on his own merit, been a good defensive-minded coach. He's
All right,
just
Caesar, we're on the same.
just been a talent merchant.
Team now.
He's a talent merchant. He's a bum. And guess what? If you are a Packers hater, this is the best thing for you because
They still owe me one. So hey,
Hey, listen, Bethke. This is the guy that you want your opponents to hire as their DC. He's really just he has elite PR for a guy who has substandard results. That 2022 Eagles season notwithstanding, the Chiefs have reunited with former offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. He's back in that position. He was the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears this past season, and they've silently, quietly told Matt Nagy to take a hike, which is a little weird because Andy Reid. This is the Andy Reid MO when he does not want to keep a coordinator. He says, we really want them to pursue their dreams. We really love them in the building. We really appreciate them. And so I want to endorse him for an even better position. If you feel strongly about a coach's, abilities, you want them on staff. So this is the nice way of saying, hey, this guy, I got to get rid of him. Somebody please take him off my hands. He might be a decent head coach for you. I mean, I'm sort of vouching for him. That's what Andy Reid is actually saying. So Matt Nagy, God, I hope somebody that's not my team takes Matt Nagy and just figures out what to do with him. Speaking of somebody who was rumored to be with my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, if you didn't already know, the Tennessee Titans are hiring Brian Daboll, however you say his name, as their offensive coordinator.
Balls.
Because purportedly he really wants to work with Cam Ward. Cam Ward, I do advise you to use the Guardian cap. Okay, just protect your brain. Brian will send you on QB runs, and he is going to use you as a battering ram. So, buddy, please protect yourself. All right. And then lastly, guys, there's still two teams looking for their head coach? Do you know them? Do you like them? You probably don't like them. You probably don't care about them because they are irrelevant. It's the Cards. It's the Raiders. They are still on the hunt for their head coach.
Well, yeah, that's actually pretty unfortunate because it feels like, I don't know. I don't know these people. Well, now one of them can hire old boy, right? Get him out of his contract.
I mean,
Schwartz.
I mean, yeah, one of them
Power
could.
of the Schwartz.
They could. If I was either organization, I would not want to hire him as my head coach. But if I'm any other team that is still looking for a defensive coordinator, I'm throwing the Brinks truck at him because he is a top 3, top 4 defensive coordinator in this league. Right? I had my frustrations with him when he was the Eagles D coordinator, but he made the most of what he was given. And so I appreciate that. I just didn't like his coverage schemes. But I think he figured that shit out in Cleveland. I don't know if he runs the same thing that he was running in 2017, 2018, 2019, etc.
Go down to the store. Go get you some gym shorts.
That's right. And yeah, guys, that's all the coaching news that we have to discuss in terms of hires. But now let's talk about a certain coach.
One more thing.
What's up?
If there is a Christian Parker, does this imply that there is a Dallas Parker?
I know.
I've learned a very, very valuable lesson. Don't fuck around and find out.
That doesn't even apply to anything that's been said so far.
We did not. You're right.
Oh,
I can't preview them.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I'm on the soundboard though. Anyway, let's talk about some other coaching news. And this is not hirings. This is not firings. This is Bill Belichick getting snubbed from being a first ballot Hall of Fame coach.
You mean the Belichick 11?
The Belichick 11. Yes, the Belichick 11. Now, one of the funniest things that I've ever seen on football Twitter is Bill Belichick. And I wish I had an image of this tweet, but it said, Bill Belichick waited 49 years for his girlfriend to be born. I'm sure he can wait another year for his Hall of Fame induction. Which, kudos to that Twitter user. That's a great joke. But let's just kind of take this back to reality here for a second. Listen, the guy won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator, second all-time in wins. What are we doing here, Pro Football Hall of Fame? I don't even like the guy because he's a cheater, but it's never been used against him before. Like outside of, Bill Belichick hate speech. So now all of a sudden, like we're holding him accountable for something.
What if
for
they don't like the age gap?
Hey man, put your name on that shit then, right?
Marriage Hall of Fame.
Right. But yeah, like I saw that. Dog, I saw that shit. I'm flabbergasted. Like, listen, is it funny? Objectively, it is funny. If you are just like a neutral, just bystander of this, you're like, oh man, that's funny, man. Like this guy is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. What the fuck did he do? But then also you got to think about it. Like, wait a minute, this has to be a coordinated effort because there's 50 votes. You need 40 out of 50 votes to get into the Hall of Fame. If 8 Super Bowls does not warrant a first ballot Hall of Fame, as a coach, I don't know what does. I will say there should not be a single coach who is a first ballot Hall of Famer anymore. Like just
I think that
stop,
a lot of people are unfairly putting blame on Robert Kraft, a great man and a patriot. Okay. Literally the patriot.
My friend's a Christian. He wears the
He said, whatever perceptions may exist about any personal differences between Bill and me, I strongly believe Bill Belichick's record and body of work speak for themselves. As head coach of the New England Patriots for more than 2 decades, he set the standard for on-field excellence, preparation, and sustained success in the free agency and salary cap era of the National Football League. He is the greatest coach of all time, and he is unequivocally deserves to be a unanimous first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. And when you hear a noble man like that say that, how could you doubt him? What you can believe that he would be doubtable? Oh,
Yeah. Also, he got his ring snatched by Putin allegedly.
that's a look. Yeah, dude, ring snatched by Putin, and then he just gave a signed Hall of Fame helmet and ball to a man who's actually won for war crimes right now. That is an actual thing that Benjamin Netanyahu can't go to certain countries because they actually will comply with that order. Obviously, ours does not.
Yeah. That's it's very funny because Robert Kraft has been campaigning for his own Hall of Fame candidacy for more than a decade. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was some motives, some underlying motives there. If he wasn't running a smear campaign, I just think,
Really,
and I think a lot of other athletes think this is the stupidest thing the Pro Football Hall of Fame has ever done by snubbing this guy.
Can we just assume that it was the moral orals doing the baseball bit?
No.
And can we laugh at the fact that there's no way that if you follow the baseball logic that they've applied that same logic to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Like, we're seriously is it just because the guys got caught in baseball? Because I thought we had a bunch of guys that never got caught that got suspected of it, and now they're blacklisted too in baseball, which is kind of what's happening here, even though, like, not to speak ill of the dead, but like, isn't Junior Seau in the Hall of Fame?
Tom Brady's on all those teams.
Well, and he did have Deflategate, obviously. So
that's and good. I guarantee you that Tom Brady's not going to be held accountable.
NFL has definitely had steroids out the ass.
100%.
Brett Favre had to go to rehab for painkillers during his MVP three-peat.
Fucking Peyton Manning's house. Y'all don't remember that?
No, dude. This is crazy, bro.
It is crazy.
The dumbest thing, but I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we saw it. We saw it when he didn't get a job or an interview. Like, Arthur Smith was about to hire him, or what's his name? Arthur Blank was about to hire him, and then got told not to, and then now he's in college.
Yeah.
And listen, there's it. Just you follow the breadcrumbs. You look at all the circumstantial evidence. You're like, yeah, this was a coordinated effort. It's dumb. It's not going to devalue the Hall of Fame, but it will devalue every head coach that follows Bill Belichick, I think, or it should. Because imagine Andy Reid retires, right? Andy Reid should, based on his resume, should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not as successful at all as Bill Belichick.
It's also fair to say Mike Shanahan's still not in, and that's a two-time NBA or NFL champion.
Greg Seifert, what's his name? George Seifert? George Seifert's not in, and he's a two-time champion as a coach as well.
But here's the thing, though. You have an 8-time champion. You literally have an 8-time champion. Just by all logics, those 8 Super Bowls, that should get you in the Hall of Fame. That's more than any other coach in the history of the NFL.
I still feel like one is good. I mean, in the NFL, Super Bowls are kind of tough.
I wouldn't say one is good enough. Doug Peterson's not going to go into the Hall of Fame. He won one.
That's fine. Doug Peterson, dude.
Greg Kubiak, do you think Kubiak should be in the Hall of Fame?
He's still got time. He's still got time to build that resume.
I'm good with that. Kubiak made the Texans a franchise.
He just happened to be the first head coach, but that doesn't mean
he was the first head coach. He was the first good head coach.
Okay, fair enough. But all in all, it is a joke with the Hall. In my opinion, it's a joke with the Pro Football Hall of Fame has done here, setting this precedent. We can't have any first ballot Hall of Fame coaches, period, going forward. Anybody, really, yeah. It's just based on this. Like, hey, good luck. But you know what? This does work into my favor because now I don't have to look at Eli as a first ballot. I can live with the fact that he might be on ballot number 5, which is what he should be. All right, he's going to get in, but he's going to get in as one of the most mediocre quarterbacks in that entire.
I think we can all pencil in. Hell yeah! I think we can all pencil in that Billy's going to be unanimous next year, right?
One person at least can be a dick about it.
For sure. And I expect that Hall of Fame speech to just be the most bitter thing. I mean, like, it's going to make Michael Jordan. Yeah,
Where Jordan will just give the speech.
Yeah, let Michael Jordan give the speech for Bill Belichick just to really coat it in that bitterness, that petty bitterness.
You think Jordan Hudson will write it for him?
No, she'll deliver it.
She'll do the speech herself.
Getting up there
Yeah.
to do that. You kidding me?
Do you think she could write that speech? She's probably gonna use G.
He's
ChatGPT.
a media boy now. He did a year in media before he took the UNC job.
Well, I'm just saying, like, now he's not going to do it.
No, no. Honestly, it would be way funnier if he was doing it, but he wasn't doing like that great of a job, and then she got on the stage like Kanye'd him, and then took over the speech. That's actually kind of what I'm
I
rooting.
will let you finish, but Tom Landry was the greatest coach of all time.
I don't know. It is a funny story.
I had to pull another one out of my ass there. Or Bill
Yeah.
Walton.
Yeah, we'll see. It is a funny story though, an unexpected story for sure.
All right, we probably got to talk about the actual
yeah.
games we played, though.
Yeah,
Now we can talk about the games right now, actually, as we wind down here. Championship weekend happened, fellas, and I think to nobody's surprise, the AFC title game was a low-scoring affair, sloppy. I mean, the weather didn't help, but man, 10-7, that was a game. That was a game. I think right now, guys, my current opinion about the AFC is that the best teams in the AFC already played each other, and it wasn't this game. It was certainly not this game. And I believe that the winner is going to be I just don't think the Patriots are going to win in the title game. But
you don't think there's any good luck in them winning an ugly AFC championship game in the snow to start the new version of their dynasty? Now, if they would have been playing the Rams, oh fuck, dude, it would have been.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been. I'm sure every Rams fan from St. Louis, if there's still any over there, would be having some weird PTSD.
Like how beaten I am by this like sports cycle.
But like there was here's the
Line.
thing.
Go out for everything now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Bethke. Because there was no controversial call that affected the entire result of the game in the snow. It's not the same. It's not the same double magic that the Patriots have had before.
Jared Stidham's decision to throw that final ball was a controversial call in his head, but
in his head. But like at the same time, the guy hasn't played football in like 2 years, really.
Yeah, he had a decent game, and then he just
come back to watch it, but
the last one was nice.
Recovery that should have been a fumble recovery touchdown that they then called intentional grounding, then picked up and called a fumble. I would still like to get more explanation on that.
See the Drake May rule.
Right, maybe. But yeah, Drake May played a horrible game, by the way. That was disgusting. Of course, that Broncos defense was absolutely incredible. But
two perfect passes and a couple of good runs. That's all he had. All he had to do.
All he had to do against a team that was playing Jared Stidham. And still, though, it was disgusting. It wasn't absolutely here's the thing. He got sacked. So he's been sacked 10 times in the last 2 weeks. I don't think that's gonna affect him in the Super Bowl. He might actually be a little skittish in the pocket now going forward, especially against that Seattle Seahawks defense, which is as good, if not better, than the Broncos defense. And I'm not trying to get ahead here of previewing the Super Bowl, but that offensive line for the Patriots clearly a weak point in this game. Didn't matter. They got just enough points, which is all they needed was 10 against a Jared Stidham-led team.
Crazy is them losing to the Raiders is why that game wasn't in New England. Or it would have been a 10 times worse blizzard the whole game.
Oh, yeah, right. But hey, good thing for the NFL, I guess. If anything, this was probably the weakest 14-3 team, or 3-loss team rather, because obviously 14-3 is a very more recent record that teams can have. But 3-loss teams going up against each other in the title game, you would expect something more than this. Granted, the Stidham situation on one end, you could only generate so much with a guy who hasn't played as often. But hey, that's on the Broncos for not investing in a semi-decent backup quarterback. And then you look at the Patriots side. I mean, yeah, they were more focused on running the ball with the weather conditions as they were, but still, not a good look that Drake May has not had strong games in back-to-back weeks. No, they might turn it on for the Super Bowl, but there is no guarantee that that's going to happen.
I don't think you take anything from his game from last week that's going to like that's no one was playing well.
Sure, but again, he didn't play. He hasn't played well in a minute. Is what I'm trying to get at. So we're going to see. Of course, every matchups make a difference. Matchups could have absolutely played a factor in this. You want you're probably going to be the MVP quarterback to be putting out some MVP level performances as you're going to the Super Bowl. Not that you needed it in this game, clearly, but you hope that that MVP caliber QB shows up on the game's biggest stage in 2 weeks.
I mean, he played really well against the Texans defense, which is supposed to be a Super Bowl level defense.
I wouldn't call that really well. I think he did just enough.
3 touchdowns, 200 yards.
And then you took all those sacks.
I mean, you're talking
a
about
beneficiary of those turnovers. Like, there's a lot of reasons for his performance.
Darnold, bro.
This week, oh no.
So and then he still had the interception, the sacks, the benefit. He benefited from a lot of good field position because CJ Stroud fucking sucks. Either way, man. I think he's just gonna need to step his game up a lot. In the Super Bowl, if the Patriots want any chance of not getting blown out, because it looks like the Seahawks Rams, like that was our Super Bowl. Was the NFL Super Bowl. It just so happened to be in the title game, and we can move on to that game because that was the more interesting game of the two, right? Because this was kind of a back and forth affair, especially in that first half. You got the Rams, Seahawks first half, right? Seahawks get out to that early lead. Rams answer back. It looks like they're going to be able to claw their way back, but you got some special teams errors that really came back to haunt the Rams in this game.
Maybe the biggest fumble since the Niners guy, right? Wasn't there a Niners game, a playoff game decided by a muffed fumble?
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken.
A little bit.
It's just it is a choice to to try to catch a ball on your back. That is certainly a choice.
Like, try to get out of the way.
I mean, it's tough, man. He's just trying to make a play in a big game, and you just do too much, or you don't think, and it happens like that.
Yeah, and that's gonna haunt
credit to the
guy
returner guy.
Career, probably.
Credit the way the team handled it. Seattle that was well played. He was up in his face. He put up the pressure on him well, and then obviously at that point it was just pick up the ball once that part had been done. But he did a great job of pressuring his face without actually drawing a penalty in that situation as well, which had to have made him think harder.
Yeah. Now I'm going to say this before we get into the second half, because that fourth quarter was scoreless. That was an absolute just riveting fourth quarter with no points were put on the board, but there was a lot of tension, a lot of drama in this game. Entering in that, because you're like, the Rams can score at any point. Can the Seahawks? Can Sam Darnold just not fuck this up? And credit to Sam Darnold, because he went toe to toe with Matthew Stafford. Granted, they're not playing against each other directly, but for every time Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense was getting something going, he was making big plays. Sam Darnold matched that, right? He played the best game of his entire career in the biggest moment. I know it's easy to take shots at Sam Darnold, make fun of him, because at one point in his career, he was one of the worst quarterbacks that you could have on the team. Now, granted, there was a lot of circumstances surrounding why. Coaching, the pieces around him. It was very evident that he's not a guy who's going to elevate your team. But one thing that he showed in Minnesota was that if the pieces around him are good enough, he can help. He can be a contributing piece to a winning team. And that's what he's done in Seattle. Granted, for people who are like, well, he's too turnover prone. Yes, he still is a very turnover prone quarterback. But we've seen it now. We've seen the proof of concept. He can have a big game that does not cost his team and not have like a boneheaded throw in the middle of his big game that will cost his team a win in this situation. Because the Rams rushing attack, non-existent. It was non-existent in this game. Kenneth Walker really couldn't get anything going on his own. Only had 3 yards to carry. What?
Talking about the Seahawks rushing?
Yeah, the Seahawks rushing attack couldn't get anything going. Sorry if I said Rams.
Keep mixing them up, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah. Sorry, it's like again. I really wish the Rams won this game and not the Seahawks, but that's it's clouding me here. It's clouding what I'm saying here. Now, 2.9 yards per rush on average for the Seahawks. What does Sam Darnold do to help out? Averaging 9.6 yards a completion, right? 3 TDs, a QBR of 82.9, passer rate of 127.8, 25 of 36 for 346 yards. The man was on fire, and the Seahawks defense came up with some timely stops when they needed them. You can't really stop the Rams attack. You can only hope to contain them, and they did. They did just that. And then, of course, the special team errors on the Rams side just costing them at the worst time. Xavier Smith has to be the sickest man in LA for his contributions to the Seahawks win and the Rams loss. But yeah, that third quarter where they're going back and forth, 2 touchdowns for each team. My goodness. Puka came up big. Devontae Adams, he's been hurt for quite some time. He contributed in a big way. Colby Parkinson contributed to the game. The Rams rushing attack was solid, right? 22 carries as a team, 114 yards. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, right? Because these were 2 equally matched teams, and it's the team that makes the most mistakes that ends up losing the game, and that happened to be the Rams this time. Guys, did you have any thoughts on this game at all? Patrick? Or Patrick?
It was a fun one. It was the better game. It was really fun.
I especially enjoyed it because of the contrast to the first one, which made me like the first one. I liked them both a lot because they were such vastly different games. I enjoyed that because if Broncos Pats had been like a thriller, like a high scoring thriller, like I would have been partly emotionally worn out and not as into the second game. But I liked having both. The taunting thing was funny. A lot of people were mad about it, but then I heard the radio call, and what's his name? Is it Ross Tucker?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He was talking about. So the guy starts jawing the sideline. The ref warns him once. He keeps doing it. The ref warns him again. He keeps doing it, and it's like, okay, I have to flag you. Like I gave you 30 yards to stop doing this. So I thought it was interesting because the TV broadcast did not help you out. Dean Blandino, useless.
He's just vibing, bro. It's like Tom Brady.
No, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed getting the contrast. I thought it was better to have the higher scoring game second. Although I was confused about the time on some of that because I was like, couldn't you start later in Denver and in Seattle? But
they do this all the time. I think with the championship games where they put them in like an awkward wedge of what the usual Sunday slate is.
Well, I just meant which game started first.
Yeah.
Although UFC games always go first.
The weather might have been why they started the Denver game first, actually, because they were like, we will not be able to play this if it starts later.
True. I mean, it was getting bad by the end of that game. So
I mean, it was annoying to hear Romo keep saying it, but it was true. It's like I don't know that I've ever actually seen anything like that quick in a game. I mentioned it. They tried using the digital yard markers, but they went with white for some reason.
Yeah.
After like 2 series, and then stopped.
What a decision.
I think they've done that subtly in time, but I think what I think when it's like Soldier Field or something and the ground is choppy, they'll try to like finish in a little line with it.
The Patriots wearing white is hilarious. You can't see
diabolical, bro. Diabolical.
But you wear on the
big grand
move. Yeah, I do wonder, like, if they're wearing red, does Stidham have a better chance?
I think so, honestly, but not necessarily on that last throw. Maybe he didn't see it,
but it's also like, how many throws did he not throw? Because he's like, is that a guy?
Yeah.
And then Drake, he had big orange targets to not throw to.
Just don't throw anywhere near the orange. I do agree with that.
Rams Seahawks was fun. I didn't want to see either team win, so whatever.
Yeah. This, as far as the Super Bowl matchup's concerned, I'm sure as the weeks lead into it, because we'll do a preview on the Super Bowl next week, of course. But just my initial thoughts on the matchup, I'm like, like I don't. Like we went from complaining about the Chiefs making a bunch of appearances to now it's like, oh great, now the Patriots are back again.
It's a different Patriots at least.
It's a different Patriots, but it's the same logo, the same owner.
Yeah, it's like a revamp of the original too. So.
Yeah, this feels this feels like? This feels like a reboot of a movie franchise that's had already way too many movies out. So we're just gonna reboot it, and it's gonna be new, it's gonna be different, but it's also gonna be the same. And that is this Patriots, because it's like, it's Vrabel. He was on that original Dynasty team. This
is a good movie, or this is a good moment for that corny tweet that everyone likes to do about didn't have that on my bingo card. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of things on my NFL bingo card, but this Super Bowl matchup would have been the furthest thing from my mind.
I would love to see what the odds were at the beginning of the season for both teams to be in the Super Bowl.
Like the worst odds for two teams combined.
Like big time.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody thought the Patriots. I think people thought the Patriots would be better than they were the year before because they brought in more stable coaching. They brought in some pieces to help out Drake May, and they're like, Drake May will probably take a step forward in his development. I don't think anybody saw 14-3, unless you saw their schedule, and you're like, now in hindsight, you're like, yeah, well that schedule was pretty easy, and then you look at their road to the playoffs, and you're like, yeah, you played CJ Stroud, who may not be long for a starting gig, and Jarrett Stidham, and of course you can only play who's in front of you, but geez, did they have an insane amount of luck in this one, or in this season. And you look at the Seahawks, that defense was just absolutely killer, and Sam Darnold was just mid enough in most games to just not get in the way, and good enough in some key spots to really help them eke out a win in some of the more tighter games they had in the season. That said, there's just something about these two matchups that I don't care about. I guess Sam Darnold might be the more interesting story considering his journey in the NFL. And I don't know, that's it. I can't. I just hate the Patriots so much on principle that I can't get invested into this game, and I just don't really want to root for the Seahawks.
He's the best pro USC quarterback now, I guess, if he wins, especially.
Yeah, although the bar really that high?
Well, Pat Hayden, I guess, would be if you're going by Super Bowls.
Yeah, but is the bar really that high for USC quarterbacks in the NFL? I mean,
it's actually crazy. Yeah, it's actually depressing. I think the Bengals deserve the most blame for that, but it's not good.
Yeah, because Carson Palmer could have been that guy. Should have been that guy. I feel, but for many reasons, wasn't.
Seahawks were 60-1. Patriots were 80-1.
Does that? And
I don't
put that
historically just yet.
Word.
Might be a longer. That might be a longer work.
Might be. Back to the USC quarterback thing. Would Rodney Peete be the second best USC quarterback in the NFL?
Oh man, that's tough. Yeah,
because Mark Sanchez. I mean, I know he went to some AFC title games, but let's be real, he wasn't very good.
Palmer was pretty good for a little bit.
Who?
Carson Palmer.
Yeah, I know that.
Man, yeah, the
Carson
Bengals.
Palmer. Matt Castle. Matt Castle had a solid career for.
Will be Pat Hayden, right? Pat Hayden won Super Bowls.
Man, that's before my time, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Pat Hayden would be the.
Who we missing? Oh yeah, Matt Barkley.
Sanchez did pretty decent.
Well, yeah, but it's.
I think Leinart. I feel like Leinart was better, but I might be wrong.
Leinart was not very good. He did not succeed in Arizona at all, and I don't think he really even got another shot. But maybe San Francisco for like a half a second.
Yeah, and you know what, Matt Leinart. Now, in hindsight, looking back at it, he was actually in a pretty good spot.
Oh, honestly, I feel bad for Sam Darnold because we already know the answer. It's probably going to be Caleb Williams at some point.
No, it's not. Calm down.
Yeah, probably. No, yeah, it might be.
Dude, he's so good after 2 seasons. Of course, it's going to be Caleb Williams. Like, I think maybe not Super Bowl. That might still be the difference, because that's never guaranteed in the NFL. But
He is most certainly the most talented quarterback
I
to
would
come out of
say, I'd
US.
say he would come from, because I would still put Carson Palmer above Darnold if Darnold won this. No offense to Darnold. I
Just
understand the ranks.
just overall career for sure.
Yeah. So then I would also feel the same about the projection of Caleb Williams.
I put Sanchez ahead of Darnold so far too.
I mean, Sanchez had a pretty solid career, but yeah, I would go ahead and put Darnold above Sanchez. At this
Saddle
point.
games. I mean, come on.
He's already done enough to go ahead of the Sanchez for me, at least.
Probably.
I'm with you on that one, Besky, because like you got to the Super Bowl, buddy. And he's the first quarterback in NFL history to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. That's got to count for something.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, it's also a lot easier.
On two different teams, by the way. 2 different teams.
But also back in the day to win 14, you either had to be undefeated or 14-2. Now you can do it at 14-3. It's still impressive. Just that
Yeah,
you'll see again at some point more than you obviously can't
well,
see it.
even if you scale down to, all right, how about just 13-3, right? As an equivalent, I don't know how many quarterbacks have had back-to-back 13-3 seasons.
I would have to assume only like Brady or Montana, maybe.
Maybe Manning as well.
Maybe.
Some of those 2000s Colts teams were really good. Like
Yeah, just depend on
from,
that's on their schedule.
yeah. But yeah,
So for fun stuff here, this is the Patriots' 12th conference title. For the Seahawks, it's their 4th. Seahawks looking to pull their Super Bowl record back to 500. It's 2-2. Patriots will be looking to set the record for their 7th Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean that probably is the most interesting thing that the Patriots bring onto this side of the discussion for storylines in the game. They're going for 7, and obviously that would be an NFL best. But
One time against Seattle in the Super Bowl.
yeah, and they're
Malcolm Butler.
right. No Malcolm Butler in this one though. I don't know. I'm sure there will be more storylines as well as the weeks come out, or as the weeks or the days go by. But right now, audience at home, you're gonna get a rematch of whatever that Super Bowl was, with completely different cast of characters this time around.
20 years ago.
12?
Longer than that.
It's 12 years ago. What are you talking
Oh, sorry. I did the same thing you did, and I was thinking of the Rams.
about? See, there you go. See, because that would have just been a more interesting storyline with Matt Stafford trying to go for 2 Super Bowls and potentially solidify himself as a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hey, you still got a year. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean they could still do it next year. I mean that defense is still young. You'll have to find a replacement for Devontae Adams probably, because he's on the wrong side of 30 as well for a receiver. But you still have the head coach. You still have a lot in place. Just will his back hold up another season? That remains to be seen. But that's for off-season discussion. That's where the Rams are now. We got the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. But for this week, we are done with the CTE ball. Unless you guys have something you guys want to talk about.
No, I think that last little thing I have on the rundown we should save for next week to go with the preview of the game. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that works for me.
And we could do it as an actual halftime. It'll be great.
Fair
Or
enough.
yeah.
We should have a Pass the Aux halftime vid intro.
Okay. I can figure it out. I got my computer back now, so I can actually make stuff.
Oh yeah.
Creativity gods bless you.
Well, all right, you guys. Unless you got anything else, I think I'll
No.
wrap us on out of here.
Oh,
Yeah, let's wrap up.
nice. You can do a little soft exit here.
And
Thanks for listening to Pass the Rock, mixed and mastered at Fox Hollow Studios.
yes.